YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I'm Shakira. I'm just out here trying to understand some numbers. Maybe y'all can help a sister out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm just thinking through what it means to actually run this as a business and um, factoring losses, taxes, how to scale the account up from trading micros to trading minis. So if, you know, the boring stuff sounds like a good time to you, let's do it. I'ma get tiny. Okay, I'm good. All right, so I've got my trade calculation sheet up here, and this one is my micro. So I'm adjusting my original thought process. I'm thinking about starting with 10K instead of 20, so I can have some additional stuff in savings for like vacations and things. So if I start with 10K funding myself, I'm going to start with 5 micro contracts, right? So 5 contracts. I'm thinking about a daily risk of like 0.004% and a weekly target of 12% on the account. So that leaves me with a daily loss. So if I lose 200, I need to stop for the day. I'm targeting 1200. So once I get to 1200 sans any losses, then I just stop trading for the week. And then my monthly target is 4,800. When I think about taxes now, I'm taking out 32% capital gains tax given where I live and in the US. And then I would end up with a net profit for that first month of 3264. Now, this is with the understanding that this is not going to happen like just in, like it's not going to be like a perfect line of awesomeness. And I just realized I said week week 1 to blah blah blah. So maybe I should take off the monthly target and set that since I'm doing them weekly. So yeah. All right, let's do a little adjustment. So let's delete that comment, that column, and then we're gonna this should be equal to that times 0.32. So and then the net profit will be, it's H2 minus G2. G2. Hold on, my math is pretty terrible. Equal to the weekly minus taxes. And let's drop this down. And from here, I'm trying to figure out, and then this will be, so this is weekly. I just realized what I did. So I'm looking at it from a weekly perspective. So that should be 2 plus D2. Okay, great. All right. So start with 5 contracts. Once I get to another 2,000 on top of the contract, then I can move to 6 contracts. And then another 2,000 on top of that, I can move to 7 contracts. And then another 2,000 on top of that, since that's still 7. Then I can move to 8 contracts. And then when we get here, so 10, 12, 14, 16. So by here, we should be at 9. And I'm trying to gauge how, depending on how much I make that week, gains how many contracts. So 12, 14, 16, 9. This would be 18, so that's 10. So we all know that's not going to, and we can delete that for the moment. Because here's what I'm actually, when we get to, just put that back on. So 18, so it's 12, so 12, 6, 14, 7, 16, 8. Oops, missed one. So this would be at 9. And then around here would be 10. Okay. So what I plan on doing is, so once we get to this amount, we switch to 1 mini at 22. Once we get to this 10 contract micro. And I've been taking a look at weekly target. I feel like, yeah. So I mean, 1200, 1112, add that in, 12, add that in, add that in, add that in. So, I mean, if I am massively diligent, it would take me 8 weeks, which is approximately 2 months, to make 20, to double my money at trading the micros with this particular target. Now, I was taking a look at what it would mean to, like, say, trade a very specific amount on the micros. And let's switch over to, let me swap this over to the charts for a hot second here. Okay, so if I were to create just on the micro, right? So we start off with 5 contracts, right? And I'm risking 40 ticks for a stop. And I'm looking, let's say I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to look for 80 ticks. My goal for the week is 1200 on the first week, right? So 80 ticks in the NASDAQ is nothing, right? I mean, in terms of movement. So I'm thinking what the base target should be if I want to make. So let's say I want to trade 3 times a week, approximately, to start. And my first target is 1200. So 3 times a week, I need to make $400 each time. And that's 160 ticks with a 40 tick potential loss for that. Okay. So let's take a look at the micro. And I'm going to go to the 5-minute here just for funsies. And let's take a look at this right here. So this low, we traded through. Want to see how many ticks that was, right? So we do this, get the entry there. I think it's supposed to be 80 ticks. Sorry, hold on. Haha. Because ICT said 80 ticks on the micro would be $40. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Oops. Sorry about that, folks. Right, that's it. So 80 ticks for 120, 160, 80, 160. So if I bring that up to 5, yeah. So 80 ticks, risking for 160. Same thing, 80 ticks for 160 ticks. All right, so let's see. Because this is a trade that I suspect and wanted to take. So 80 ticks risk on this one at 5, right there. And I'd want 160 right there. Now I figured it would roll into most of that. So that's $400 right there on that one. Beautiful. So this is okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's 3 trades in a week looking for this exact setup. 80 ticks, stop, 160 up. Now, there's literally nothing wrong with, because when I was looking at this setup, I was thinking it, would come back into the premium. At least the midpoint of this fair value gap right here. And that would, once we get past the halfway point, maybe hit the ORT block and then, go back because we're bearish. But this pattern for me is life, right? Once it took out this short-term high, proper short-term high on the 5-minute, liquid gold. So I'm literally looking for $400 every trade done, at least in the first week, approximately. So if I keep this up, 80 tick stop. All right, cool, 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 cool. All right, so if that's the case, let's nip back over to our calculations here. Gotta get through the boring stuff, right? Gotta get through the boring stuff. All right, so let's knit back over to our calculations here. And let me get back over there. All right, so if I'm taking 3 trades, my daily rate loss that I'm willing to go for is $200. That means I would try for 2 trades in a day. Weekly target is that. So I'm looking. All right. So for the next week, when we get to a new target at 1344. Okay, so 13. So if I specify that I want to make $1,200 period, instead of like, like just keep it at 1,200 for the foreseeable future for a while, right? So if we say 1,200, let's keep it uniform for a while, right? Let's keep it uniform. Okay. And then make a very specific amount. Okay. So yes, still be at 6. 14, we'll get to 8. Actually, yeah, so 12, 6, 13, 6. Sorry, 7. Huh, can't count. And we get to 16. We got 8. We're at 8. And then we're at 9 here. All right, so we need to come down some more. Oops. So I'm thinking I need to be, I want to be very strategic numbers, right? So if I do all of this, so the weekly target is that net profit. Huh. My net profit number is wrong, I believe. The net profit should be this plus, okay, so that's the taxes, 1,200 net profit. Yeah, I guess for the week is going to be the same, and the taxes will be the same, but the account is growing. The amount of contracts will change how much the weekly goal will be. Yes, yes. Just thinking through that. All right, so if we look at 6 contracts, so if we're doing 80 tick stop, 160, just keep it simple. I mean, just to start, right? Let's knit back over to our handy dandy chart and let's look at that calculation, right? So if we come back, sorry. So this is perfect. Let's create limit order. So now we're switching up to 6 contracts, right? So that's 480. So that means 480 times 3, right? That's 1440. All right, cool. All right, and I will now leave just the calculation piece up for now. Okay. All right, so let's switch back over there and then I'll switch back. Okay, so once we get to 6 contracts, then the weekly target is 1440. Take that off, right? It's 1440 while we're doing 6 contracts. All right, cool. Right. So once we hit, so we're still at 1440 plus that, we get to 15 something here. So 6, 6, so we're at 7 now. So let me go see. So at 7 contracts with that calculation, it's 560. So if 560 times 3, sorry, 3 trades for the week, 1680. I know this is the boring part, but this is the part that makes the most sense to me. 1680. Okay. And I probably should just do this calculation in here. So let me look at what's happening here. So at 160 ticks, 80 tick loss, 280. Okay. Look at that. 7 times. So, so on the NASDAQ, that's the tick is $2. So it'd be like 160 times 2. Okay, that doesn't compute. Okay, we'll just do it this way. All right. So based off this calculation, so 7 ticks would get us to 560 times 3. Let's see, did I already do that one? Let's put the glasses back on. Okay, so 7 ticks is 560 times 3. That's 1680, right? So 1680 weekly target, we finally get to 16, so we are 8. All right, let's go. Let me switch it to 8 units on the micro here. That's 640. 640 times 3 trades for the week. That's 1920 as a target. Right. And once we get to 18, we can trade 9 contracts. Oopsie. Let's switch back over. 9 contracts. That's 720. 720 times 3 trades, 2160 a week. My goodness, I can see how this thing can snowball after a while. It starts off slow, but once you really start working it, yeah, yeah. All right, so once we hit 20, we're at 10 contracts, and that puts us at trading 1 mini. So let me see here. So if I switch this to 10, yes, perfect. So that puts us at 800 times 3 trades. It's 2400. So at this point, 2400. Cool. So so it would take me approximately 9 weeks, give or take, to get to this much. And the net profit for the week would be that. That's 9 weeks. Every week is not going to be a winner, obviously, but this is where I start to, at the 10th week, once we get to this, is when I start to trade 1 mini. So, yes, so let me see. Mini contracts. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop this down here. So we're going to continue week 10, and now it's going to be, sorry, it's going to be micro. Sorry, so these are all micros. So now we're moving to mini contracts. So week 10. All right. So this is this plus G8 total. So I'm keeping track of how much I need to keep for taxes. All right. Out of everything. All right, so this is going to be plus doing that right. Okay, so that's the weekly target there. Perfect. All right, good. And then we're trading. Oh, I got a one there. Trading. What? Keep. It's an I. I. Okay. So we're trading 1 contract, and the risk is the same, 0.004, and my target's still well, let's be honest, the weekly target is based on how many contracts I'm trading and the model I'm following, right? So let's say 1, 2, daily loss. Oh, we already have that. Daily losses, B9 times D9 times C9. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be B times C times that. So I want to keep my risk sorted out. B12 times D times C. I mean, that's crazy. All right, so now that we're at 1 micro, I'm gonna switch my end. This is on IQ. So I'm going to set my thing here. And so for every, we'll continue on, right? So for every, so one of those, and we're risking, probably don't have to risk 80 ticks on this one. Because the spread's not as bad, but let's assume we do that, right? That's a little, because by the time we get to 10 contracts, that's what we're risking, right? So I gotta wrap my head around the fact that that's the case, right? So the weekly target, if I'm trading 3 times a week, is still 2,400, and the taxes being gonna be that times 0.32. So net profit will be this, that minus that. That's my and oh, that's correct. Incorrect. There you go. All right. So when we get to, so now we can start to track the mini contracts and see how we can progress. So let's push this out for lots of months here. And now we can bring this all out. I feel like the daily loss is wrong though. So the daily loss I've been calculating up here, 842. I don't know that I like that. I like that. I like that. If I take one trade and I lose the 400, then that should be it. Oh, you know what? The daily loss is calculated based off of this. So B D times this. How many contracts? I don't know if I'm calculating that correctly, if I'm being honest with you. So the risk should be a little bit more on this. Let's see. That's way too much. Because I don't want to risk more than, I think, what is it? Whatever gets me to 400. Like if I lose 400 in a day, I just stop. So what's that? 1, 6, 6. Oops, almost there. I know this is the boring stuff, y'all. 7, 8. Too much. 7, 2, 7, 1, 7. All right, let's just leave it at that. So approximately daily loss that if I lose that, I'm done. Okay. Cool. So now let's drop this down for a bit and start to make some adjustments. Hmm? Mm, so why didn't this calculate plus G10? Okay, let's do this. Let's where I use 0 plus the weekly target. So okay, yeah, so B10 plus G10. Okay. Why is that 0? It's equal to that plus that. Okay, maybe we just need to do this. That's weird. This should copy down all of the... Okay. Okay, alright, let's continue. I'm just trying to figure out why this thing is acting silly. So, let's see. It should just transfer the value. What? Function added parameter 1 expects number values, but account is a text and cannot be... Oh, ha, ha. Hold on. Let's set the value to that. Because I shouldn't have to specify it to what it was before, plus what we're looking to gain for the week. All right, there we go. I think we got it fixed. All right. So we're at one contract. I think for me, when I get to 25, I'll start with 2 contracts and then 33. So, mm, D3, yeah. Times it by how many contracts that we're trading. Yep. All right, so let's bring that down and let's continue this down as well. So if I don't change anything, I'll get to 100K in 43 months. All right, cool. All right, so 2 contracts, same scenario, 80 tick stop, 160 ticks. I'm using the Nasdaq as the example for this. So for 2 contracts, that would be $1,600 a week. Times, well, sorry, $1,600 a trade times 3 trades. So that puts us at 4,800. You can see how this starts to snowball, right? So 4,800, 2 contracts. So it's righteous. G13, G14. All right. Cool. 2 contracts. So this should not change. The daily loss amounts. So if it's 1 contract, if I lose the 400, I'm done. Then this should be 800. This should be 800. So this will be that. I'm gonna calculate this times this original number. There we go. Okay. And this one's still going to be times, it's going to get complicated. I want it calculated that way. Okay, so when I get to 20, actually, when I get to 30 is when I get to 3, sorry. So every 10K, I'm going to add a contract, approximately. So 20K, once we get to 30K, I add one more contract. Let's see what that looks like loss-wise. So, with 3 contracts, now we're looking to make 2,400 per trade times 3 times a week. That's 7,200. So 7,200 is the weekly target. And this is now, yeah, that's right, times the 400. That's correct. 34. So we're still at 3 contracts. That's going to be 3 times, yeah, 1,200. Perfect. And the weekly target is still 7,200. Okay. We see our net profit and taxes are changing. So once we get to over 45, we can do 4 contracts. And 4 contracts at 80 tick stop with 160 for contracts. That's 3,200 a contract times 3 times a week. It's 9,600. Woo! It's starting to snowball, eh? 9,600. Okay, so then this is going to be 4 times F12. Hold on. Okay, right. Let's see, 16 times that, yeah. So 3,200, 1,600. Okay, good. So weekly target is 96, taxes 60. Okay, so we're at, okay, 54. We're at 5 contracts. And just make a note. It's going to be consistent based on 80 tick stop and 160 tick TP on NQ. All right, cool. Let's do that and make sure that is noted pretty much everywhere. So I'm looking to see what it means to get to $1 million using this process, okay? So at 5, let's go back over here. Let's set that 5. That's $4,000. So 4,000 times 3. So it's 12,000 a week. I mean, that's pretty insane if you ask me. $12,000 a week. That's wow. Let's do this. Okay. It's still going to be F12. Like that value is not going to change. So 5 times that's 2,000. Okay. All right. I don't know if I would consider this like a day. So a daily loss would put me at 6,000 if I lost all 3 trades instead of making 12. Suppose. Oh my God, 66, we'd be at 6 contracts. And that's how much? 6 contracts at this small, minute amount. 4,800 times 3. Times 3, 14,040 a week. Sorry, 14,400. What? So that's okay. Oh my goodness, we're 80. I might hang out at 6 contracts for a while, I think. That might be a good plan. So let's stay with 6. So that's 14,400. I'm gonna be conservative a bit. 12. So when we get to 100, I'll switch to 7 contracts. Mm, yeah, so we'll stick with 6. Keep it simple. Because I mean, let's be honest, that's a lot of money a week already. I mean, that's crazy. It's awesome. So once we get to 100, though, that's when we switch to 7 contracts. So 7 contracts on at that small, minute amount. 5,600 times 3, bruh. 16,800. A week, though. I mean, damn. So, I think let's stay at 7 until we get to 130. So that's 16,800. Okay. So once we get to 140, we can switch to 8 contracts. Oh my God. That's $6,400 for that 160 move. So 6,400 times 3 trades. It's just 3 trades a week. This is crazy. So that's 19,200. I'm actually rather enjoying this process, y'all. I mean, okay. So, that would put us at finally making, well, not finally. Oh, wow. All right. So, one, that's another 20K up already. So I guess 9 contracts. Now let's keep it at 8. Let's keep it at 8. Let's keep it uniform. Be as uniform as we can be. A week. I mean, that's pretty freaking ridiculous. Let's be honest, right? All right, let's go to 9 contract once we get to 180, right? 9 contracts. That's 7,200 for that small ass trade times 3. It's 21,600 a week. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so 9 contracts. I mean, that's a week, not even 3 trades a week. Not trading the whole week, just a week. So, in about, if I follow this, stick to 9 here. So 21,600, and that's still going to be 12. I know this is boring, but it's interesting calculations. Okay, so if I follow this plan very religiously, 3 trades a week, 80 tick stop, 160 tick TP, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm definitely not gonna let it get past, from a stop perspective, 200 probably, just to be sure, like 40 ticks. But if I follow this, risk 80 ticks to make 160. This is on the micro, so this might change a little bit because the spread probably doesn't need to be as wide, but still utilizing the same 160 tick TP. So in 24 months, we will be at 200K and change, trading 9 contracts with 3 trades a week at 21,600 a week. How about you? But that's a little crazy if you ask me. I mean, it's crazy. So I don't think I'll be trading more than 10 contracts probably. So that's when we get with 225. Let's go 10 contracts and let's just leave that as the base. So that would be $8,000. Are you kidding me? That's $8,000 times 3 trades. That's 24,000. So that's 24,000 a week, risking $4,000 approximately a day at the 80 tick amount. So I would just keep this at 10 for the foreseeable future, and my risk of 4,000 each time, let's keep that there. 10. You know what? Let me just set this by 400 and be done, right? Just keep it simple. Let's do that. And then this is going to be what I'm looking for the foreseeable future. I mean, making that much money a week is, for the foreseeable future, is perfectly acceptable. If I follow this plan, I'm already at 600 and change. 10 micros, maybe when I get to 300, like right about here, let's switch it to 11. 11 contracts. Let's see. What does that do for my weekly gains here? 8 times 3. It's 26. 400. Right. 11. And maybe 12 here. So 26.4 up to about there. And then at 12, so I don't want to go above 15 contracts. I don't know. This is a small fruit to work with. It's 9,600 times 3. It's 28,800. 28,800. 12 contracts. 12 contracts. I mean, how much money does one need? Just keep it at 12. 28.8. All right. So I'm just curious now, how does this get me to when does this get me to 1,000,000? Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So in about 53 weeks. There's 52 weeks in a year. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. A week? We all know it's not going to work exactly to this exact plan, because I'm going to have losing weeks. I'm going to have weeks where I make more, because this is the bare minimum. Like, let me grab what this, let me just show you what this looks like, right? So this is ticks, stop loss 80 ticks, 160. Okay. And I'm gonna take a screenshot and drop it in here. At least I hope I can take a screenshot and drop it in here. I'm gonna just copy this image right here. That's the movement I'm looking for. It's not even like a big movement. Let me switch back to the charts. This probably looks better over there. Haha. That's It's not, switch this over. This wasn't supposed to take this long, but, whatever. So, I mean, planning for your future is not a crazy thing. So, we already saw this one, right? Like, right here, 80 tick stop, 160. We already knew it was going to roll a little bit more, you know, than that. And, for it to get back into a premium from here, the 160 already is above that. And that, we had this fair value gap we were tapping into. So maybe midpoint of that will take a little more. But once it passes this, I would have put my stop right there at 160. And if it wants to come back, that's its business. But my TP up to there, once we bust past here, stop right there, gone. All right, so let's take another look here, right? Let's take another look-see. I mean, this is the NASDAQ. It's not a lot of movement, that 160. Let's look at this other scenario that fits this bill relatively easily. Low, lower, low, traded through. Fair value gap. Right there. 80 tick stop. Right there. Would have been fine. Would have had to deal with all this drawdown, which sucks. But, yeah. Bullish breaker. They stayed inside of the wick. Beautiful. My entry might have been a little bit lower, but look at that. 160. Easy. So if I stick with this very, very simple, and I mean seriously simple. So let's do a shorter. So let's. So if we were doing a scenario right here, 80 tick stop right there for the short, and then 160. Now recognize that 160 is not a lot of movement for the NASDAQ, right? It's on that one candle. Like I've seen 400 just come on a mini easy. And then you could just be aiming for this low or just that low. So, I mean, 160 is the bare minimum I'm looking to take. But look at that. That's 307 ticks. So on 12 contracts, that's 18,420. I mean, that's not even like a big move. It's on the 5 minute. Anyway, all of that to say is there's a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money out here if you can be strategic about it. And I plan to be as strategic as possible. So I've just created a plan in front of you, outlined it to the T. So the only job I have now is to follow it to the T. That's it. If I get to my weekly goal, stop. Come back next week. Done. If I get over my weekly goal, even better. I like that as a buffer, but to build discipline, well, let's be honest, it's just to build discipline, you just have to follow the plan. Every day, done. So, all right. Thanks for hanging out with me for like 48 minutes looking at how to plan for trading, taxes, all that good stuff. Well, I guess the taxes part I really just sort of glossed over. It's not really, but the simple truth is, and I'll make myself tiny for a hot second here. So the simple truth of the matter is, let me take this off of here. So here we have the taxes that we're going to have to pay weekly. I would be putting that aside, So if I extract money out of here monthly, then the taxes will go into another account that's just meant to pay the tax man at the end of the year. Period. I might have more, I might have less. Hopefully I have more. but that's the journal idea. 0.32% capital gains is highway freaking robbery around here, but it is what it is. All right. So hope everybody's having a great Sunday. It's amazing up here. The breeze is life. So I'm gonna go back to it. Y'all enjoy yourself. Shakira out.